It might feel impossible right now, and it's frustrating that you don't even have the time to heal because you have responsibilities like assignments. You might be stressed and then get stressed about feeling stressed. I know it all too well, but life doesn't pause for us. We keep moving through the tunnel. But here's the good part. As long as you keep going, you'll eventually find the light at the end. While we're on the journey, there are still things that we need to get done though, otherwise there will be consequences. So here's how to study or stay productive in general, even if you're struggling with your mental health. Now, you might be a little dubious.
How could you possibly understand what I'm going through right now? You look completely fine. I don't need another productivity guru telling me to just do it.
I feel you. While I can't know what you're going through specifically, the 7 tips I'm sharing with you today are exactly what I use to help myself when I'm not in a great mental state, like just last week. Basically, my mental health and self-esteem haven't been in tip-top shape because of my acne, which I just can't figure out. I have a family member in the hospital, and overall, I just feel like I can't be on top of my stuff as much as before.
Life has just been a series of L's recently. I'm so annoyed. Oh, my skin is so bad, and the wedding is less than 2 months away, and so many things have been going wrong. And I feel so weak mentally. I'm supposed to be able to. I feel like I am able to just take these things in stride, but everything together, and plus my skin and hair are just so bad, and I only have one wedding, and it's cost so much money, and I feel like I'm not prioritizing the planning enough because of other things I have to do. I just don't have any little wins to sometimes you need a little bit of a balance, so then you're not fully everything's going wrong, but maybe I'm just not looking at the good things enough. I just feel so pathetic. Objectively, my life is good, but I can't get myself to do anything, but I can, so that's the purpose of filming this silly video. It's I have it out, dump it out, and I'm gonna wash the dishes. I'm gonna finally clean my super messy desk, clean the bedroom. So many things are just scattered on the floor. I believe I can get zen even if the outside is chaotic, because that's what I did before, but both are not zen, so it's just way worse. Neither is zen. Ironically, Jenny just came out with zen this morning, and she looked so good, and I just look so bad, so I just whatever. I don't know why I'm comparing myself to a K-pop idol now. That's how low I've gotten and irrational.
Yeah, I was kind of going through it. This really isn't for you to feel bad for me because you have your own life to worry about, but I just included it to demonstrate how what you see online is not the full picture, so don't let it make you feel worse about yourself. We can use it as an example though, because that day I still had a ton of stuff to get through, and honestly, looking back, I'm pretty proud of myself for digging myself out. So let's go over the 7 practical tips that I used and that I used to help me in general. Let's go. In that moment, I felt like the day was ruined. Another day just wasted sitting there watching YouTube videos and low energy and feeling bad about myself. I kind of visualized myself going through the day just slumping there. But then I realized if I can imagine the negative outcome and feel like I can make that happen, then I can also imagine the positive alternative. So as difficult as it was, I tried to move my brain first before I moved my body, and to envision the positive things that I could do until I felt like I was really in control to make it happen. And so the first tip is a mindset one. Understand that the only way to correctly predict your future is to create it. Here's a lovely visual to get your brain running on some hope. Having a more positive mindset is going to help you take positive action. I share affirmations that help me get through tough times in my free 7-day guide. Thanks to those who already shared your results. One of you said that even your parents could see change in your mindset and actions. You can join for free with the link below. When I was playing basketball on Caltech's team, we had 3-hour practices every single day where whenever we miss a layup, boom, we have to run a sprint. whenever we miss a free throw, boom, we have to run another sprint. I can't tell you how many sprints we had to run as punishment, but when I had my lower back injury, I could barely run. So in this circumstance, do you think my coach made me run just like every other girl per usual? No, she was a good coach. So because I was physically struggling, it was okay to lag behind every single other player on my team and walk while they ran. If we think this is reasonable for a physical struggle, then the same thing should go for mental struggles. Thus, as your own coach, you have to set your new standards for yourself. On a day when you only have 20% and you give 20%, that is you actually giving 100%. This second tip, also mindset related, has to be part of your foundation before you make yourself do any action, because that's going to help you take on the next steps sustainably and not make yourself feel worse. It's crucial to set expectations, so if you're slower at learning, that's okay because you're still making progress and that's all that matters. Sometimes we feel the need to deny our feelings so we can just be normal again, but imagine these two scenarios. Option 1. You think,
I haven't gotten anything done all day. I don't deserve a break.
And then you continue to brute force yourself to work, and then you still don't get anything done because you're just slumping there, feeling discouraged, and then the cycle repeats the next day. Option 2. It's totally normal to feel how I feel right now, and I'm going to accept my emotions, but know that they don't define me. However, what I can do for myself right now is to go meditate, play with my dog, or go out on a walk in nature. So, which one seems like the better option? Well, hopefully you said option 2, and that's why tip 3 is to do something nice for yourself. It might seem counterintuitive to start with an action that's not really the being productive part, but this is actually more efficient because think about it. In the time it takes you to drag yourself out of bed and to force yourself to work, you can instead make yourself feel a little better by fixing yourself a treat or something, and then you'll study more effectively later. That way, even though we shouldn't just work when we feel like it, we can make it easier by doing something enjoyable first and working in harmony with ourselves by acknowledging our feelings first. Like that day, one of the first things I got myself to do was to go make a nice hot cup of tea using rose that my mom got me from China, so it made me feel like home. Even that simple action that's not work yet felt so hard in the moment, believe me, like I was not feeling good. But once I made the tea I enjoyed, I started feeling better almost immediately. So go do just a 5-minute meditation, arrange your desk. You might think you're procrastinating, but you're actually making it more efficient for you to start the work later. Transition to next one. This tip number 4 is kind of like the sister to tip number 3. Think about it. How many things do you do per day? Do you do per day because you have to do it? You have to go to school or work, you have to study, etc. As much as I enjoy making videos, sometimes I feel like I'm on this never-ending hamster wheel of things I should do. And I've kind of gotten lost realizing that I miss doing hobbies that don't really have an end goal. Maybe you can relate. It can be so draining when you're living on autopilot, and then even worse when you're forced to learn and your mental health isn't great. So that's why something I realized I did when I was younger that brings the joy back into learning is to ease into your school learning and feel in control again by simply learning something else because you want to. This is where Skillshare comes in, who is the kind partner of today's video. For example, I've always loved singing, and I've been thinking for a while how it would be awesome to actually learn proper vocal technique from an expert. I never did or sought out how to do it because I thought a vocal expert would be really expensive, but then I realized I've been on Skillshare for a while and I didn't even try searching whether there are singing classes on there. Turns out, among Skillshare's thousands of classes, there were indeed a variety of singing classes that I could do. Call me silly, but I should have known because Skillshare is the largest online learning platform for creatives, with thousands of classes covering illustration, film, productivity, entrepreneurship, and so much more. These classes are led by industry experts and help turn your creativity into a practice, which is really good for wellness overall. Like, you can paint with the help of a Skillshare class, which is therapeutic and can help take your mind off of your worries. For me, learning to improve my vocal range and techniques makes me really happy and even more motivated, especially because I sing all the time at home, and that's gonna help my ears enjoy it better too. Couldn't think of the word. The first 500 people who sign up with the link in my description will get a free 1-month trial of Skillshare, so check it out. When we get older, as explained by Disney's Inside Out, doesn't it feel like we're just able to think of so many more things that make us feel bad? So while we get smarter, we're also able to self-sabotage our own brains and well-being, and that's because of dear little anxiety.
What was your name again? Oh, I'm sorry, I can get ahead of myself. I'm anxiety. I'm one of Riley's new emotions, and we are just super jazzed to be here. Where can I put my stuff?
And feeling overwhelming with everything we have to do because suddenly we can think of all those things and have more responsibilities and yeah. But contrary to what this little anxiety makes us feel like, we don't have to do everything, everywhere, and all at once. Just determine the minimum viable productivity to do in the next 30 minutes. For example, instead of worrying about studying all 5 subjects and doing all 20 chores, break it down. Ask yourself, what is the single minimum viable productive thing that you can accomplish in the next 30 minutes? Of course, as I always say, time is arbitrary, so customize it to yourself. It could be, what are just a few things on my to-do list that I'm going to circle and prioritize such that if I only get these things done today, I will feel satisfied. The key is that as much as anxiety makes us feel like we should consider every single thing, we truly don't know everything yet, so don't feel the need to think of everything. This will help quiet good old anxiety. That day, after those tears and trying to pick myself up, about 30 minutes after, I was up and singing, belting my heart out to my favorite karaoke songs. It wasn't a quick flip of the switch, but it was more so like I turned on my speaker, started blasting some of my favorite songs, and suddenly I just got into the zone and got into the mood. And so I realized there are certain things like music and working out that inevitably they just make me feel better no matter how down I am. That's why tip 6 is to let it out. Find your escape, the specific things customized to yourself that let you, no matter what, feel better. This might sound similar to an earlier tip, but in particular, what I mean is something physical where like, it could be standing outside and yelling your heart out if that's what feels good, or like yelling into your pillow, or like going boxing or stuff like that like really lets you get out your frustration. Otherwise, it's just gonna bubble up like a volcano. Music helps me when I'm down, and the gym helps me when I feel upset or frustrated. Now, last tip. This is when I tell you it's okay to go on your explore page and scroll around a little, but I'm telling you to explore something very specific. Search cat videos or dog videos or any cute animal videos. Just really bathe in their innocence for a while. It is inevitable that it will make you smile. Just tell me watching this adorable Shiba Inu video doesn't make you smile. If it doesn't make you a little bit happier, then I don't know if I could be friends with you. The bottom line is consume positive content. And speaking of consumption, that's why I always say to curate your feed so it's ready to go and inspire you and make you happier whenever you feel down. This is especially important because when you do feel in a bad mood, your first instinct might be just to scroll randomly, and that could affect your mental health, making it even worse. The little posts I shared throughout this video are all proof of the power of curating your feed because I follow people like James Clear, Mark Manson, and Adam Grant, and these posts are literally all things that I saved when I was not feeling so good. Plus, if you still use social media, instead of deleting it like I recommend, you can follow me at Wamey with 2 Y's and a 5. On my Instagram, I share some additional wedding updates, and I only mention this because a bunch of you DM'd me being like, Amy, why didn't you tell me you had an Instagram? So now you know. Mini tip. It's very important to believe things even if they sound cliche, because there's a reason they're cliche and said all the time. Like for me, I'm a sucker for you. I'm a sucker for quotes, but I've learned that whenever I'm stubborn about something cliche, saying,
It doesn't work for me,
often I'm wrong. But even after all that effort, just when you did your best to get yourself up and running, very productive, try taking care of yourself, your body is like, nah, I have a migraine right now, so we're gonna take a lovely little ibuprofen here. I need to message my friend about what her migraine medicine is, because why are these so frequent recently? Oh. I think because I ate some like spoiled meat for lunch. It's 4 p.m. Oh, freaking. Why? Man, life was just testing me on that day. I was getting deja vu from when I got migraines all the time while in school. Thankfully, I'm recovered from that incident now, and I'm gradually building myself up. But that's how we build resilience, right? It's not fixed overnight, and maybe we just have to redefine what mental health really is, which is staying strong despite life's inevitable ups and downs. And it's just to remember that with anything bad that happens, life goes on. Yeah, life goes on like this again. I'm roasting myself because now you're like,
You didn't really learn those lessons because your singing's still bad.
Final message from me to you. You are doing so much. I was thinking back the other day about all the crazy things I handled as a teenager, and I'm like, dang, I don't know if I could do that again. Not at this age. So pat yourself on the back. And even if you're a teenager right now, think back to all the things you conquered when you were in like elementary school. Those stressful things back then seemed really tough at the time, but yet you made it through. Like I said at the start of the video, you might be in a dark tunnel now, but you'll reach the light eventually. That's because there's bad news and there's good news. The bad news, time will keep going. The good news, time will keep going. Time will heal you. So just make sure to give yourself that time. Great job, my wonderful A team. Remember that you can try Skillshare for free using the link in my description. The first 500 people will get a free 1-month trial. Keep in mind your golden mindset, which is that self-love equals self-care, which equals automatic self-growth. I have a podcast episode that's full of affirmations that's kind of like a subliminal to help you feel more motivated and to decrease your self-doubt. And that will be also linked in the description. Yay! Just do your best and I promise things will get better.